Stupid science. Stupid science.
Science. Pew, pew, pew. Welcome to Stupid Science with JD and Lisa. So glad you're listening, and let's jump right into my favorite segment. I say that for both segments. Stupid criminals.
It is time.
Yep.
It is. It's time. We got a good
Pastime.
Florida man is exceeding expectations as always.
Coming into
never
his
lets
own.
the public down.
Nope.
Every week, Florida man.
I never feel let down.
This month we're starting off in a Walmart in northern Florida.
Mm-hmm.
North central Florida, I guess.
Where only good things happen.
Well, where would you say St. Cloud, Florida is? Osceola.
Osceola, that's the middle of the state.
Middle of the state, middle of central Florida?
Kind of think, yeah.
So right there.
Orange Groves or Disney World.
And Walmart, apparently, where they were having a...
That's where they grow the Walmarts.
That's where they grow the Walmarts?
To their right.
Florida man, also getting ripe. So in Osceola, O-S-C-E-O-L-A, Osceola.
Osceola.
Chief
Osceola.
They decide they're going to have a little event at the Walmart for the holidays, for the police. They're going to have a shop with a cop.
Okay, and it rhymes.
Yes, it doesn't rhyme.
Do you have to supply your own
cop? That's all
cop?
good propaganda does.
Mm-hmm.
No, they're supplying the cops. They're supplying the cops. You have to provide the shopper.
I don't have one in my home, so that's good.
This is a proper capitalist event. You provide the money, they'll provide the cops.
Just like baby Jesus wants. Spend that money.
And so there's got to be 30, 40 cops.
Yeah, because people are shopping with cops.
Right. Signage. Because it's shop with a cop. It's an event.
Yeah.
They're inviting people to show up for this event.
Mm-hmm.
When Brad, they put it in quotes. Apparently they wanted to save this man from some humiliation and didn't want to let the world know his actual name.
And so they were just racking their brains. What do we call this guy?
Check out the big brain on Brad. He goes down. He decides he's going to rob the Walmart while there's 40 cops in the Walmart wandering out
wall to wall
with the shop with a cop.
The signage, the banner,
all over, banners, people doing whatever. There's probably some guy in a cop mascot uniform wandering around out front.
Copy was there. Yeah, and in addition to all the signage, just all the cops.
All the cops. All the cops wandering around at this propaganda
So
event.
he had to push officers aside to shoplift off the shelf. Can you hand me that? I'm going to stick it in my pocket. It's not shoplift with a cop.
Maybe you thought the cops were paying it. Misunderstood.
That guy says he's got me.
Just put it on their tab. So he went to jail.
Hard to believe. Brad. Well, if there were a few more signs.
We got a couple stories where a Florida man was out of state.
Okay, I've heard of such a thing.
Travels to Des Moines, Iowa for whatever reason.
Don't ask.
Mr. Javier Rafael Camacho Cepeda.
All right.
Of Bradenton, Florida. Apparently the people in Iowa were not concerned about protecting his identity.
They didn't care.
With Brad.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Nothing's in quotes?
Nothing's in quotes after that name. No.
Okay.
So he's in Des Moines. He decides, you know what? I'm going to go to the bank. And he needs to get a ride to the bank, so he does what we all do when you need to get a ride somewhere. You don't have a car. He calls for an Uber.
So far, so good.
Takes an Uber with his name and on his Uber account, goes to the bank, gets inside the bank, pulls a gun, robs the bank.
That he just got that Uber ride to.
No, and then he just got an Uber ride.
Okay, I was a little nervous. I was like, so far, this is not a stupid... Oh, there it is.
There it is.
There, just 5, 4, 3, 2, pulls out a gun.
But he's not done being stupid. Go Javier.
I should have more faith. Go ahead.
He comes out of the bank. He needs to get away, right? They just have a getaway car because Uber took him there.
Yeah.
Turns out he does have a getaway car because Uber took him there. The Uber driver is still sitting there in the parking lot waiting for his next appointment or whatever. So he runs over and he hijacks the Uber.
The vehicle that is there because he logged in with his
The guy
account.
knows his face because he just drove him there.
Had a good ride. 5 stars.
Points the gun at the guy, kicks him out of the car, takes the car, drives away, leaves the guy who knows who he is standing there.
Yeah. Yes, officers, I know exactly who that is. That's Mr. Camacho.
And then doesn't even get away. He just drives up the road north, and they catch him in Minnesota. I
He
think.
literally was like, I'm going to go that way.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they just caught him in Minnesota on the highway, still driving. He had
The
not
vehicle.
stopped. Yeah, the same vehicle.
Yeah. The other guy was like, well, here's my license plate number.
I don't know if he was going to Canada, what his plan was, if he had a plan, he was just driving his plan.
Oh.
Yeah. I'm giving him too much credit,
That's so
Florida
sweet.
man.
Yeah.
But
What's his plane you speak of?
just-
There's the car. The same car I came here in.
that's convenient.
How lucky.
Yeah, how lucky for me.
Things are going my way.
The stars align for me today.
Yeah.
Everything's going off the air today.
Oh, man of Javier. You do good and the universe rewards you.
Oh my God.
Can't believe they caught him.
And another story of a Florida man going to another state to commit crimes.
You know what? You gotta shop local, guys.
Most people know by now that Colorado has famously legalized marijuana. They were the first state in the country to legalize marijuana. They've
For recreational use?
for whatever reason you want to know.
Lucky.
You want to use it. But apparently Lazaro Piloto Gomez, he can grow marijuana up to 12 plants in the state of Colorado,
Yeah.
this Florida man. But he decides, no, I'm going to find a way to commit a crime. And he grows 939 plants.
What?
Inside.
Hold on, let me make sure there's more than 12.
That's a little bit more. 939 minus 12.
Way more than 12,
That's
sir.
way more than 12. 10 pounds of dry marijuana product was also found in his shed. Another 10 pounds, yes. He had a lot of marijuana.
In a state that allowed you to have some.
He was like, no, hold my beer.
I got your some.
Florida man got this.
Oh my bud. Son, that is industrious. That's work.
The home and outbuildings of the property were both condemned because the electrical systems were altered and clearly not up to code. They had not been inspected along the way.
Rigged, hucklebucked. A little pat on the back when Florida man does a lot of hard day's work.
Yeah, that's a lot of work.
Put in a lot of
939 plants in the main house, 20 plants in an outhouse. There's another however many pounds packed up, and dried, and ready to go.
I've had the unkillable Porthos plants die on me.
That's the American work ethic right
exactly.
there.
He's got a green thumb. Your Honor.
Sorry.
And I'm being punished.
Give that man this is them trying to keep the blue-collar working man down.
It's a shame, really.
Yeah, it's a hero.
Free what's his name?
Now, Florida woman's also getting in the act.
She's better. The future is female.
You may want to hold on to that. Up in Hialeah, Florida.
Okay.
A woman is suing Amanda Ramirez is suing Kraft.
Heard of it?
Kraft Heinz Foods. You may have heard of it.
My waistline is testament that I've heard of Kraft.
And you may have heard of it. They make some mac and cheese.
Sure do.
They're famous. When I was a kid, I remember Kraft Mac and Cheese. Everybody liked Kraft Mac and Cheese.
Yeah.
And over time, they started making those little one-off, single-serving ones that you can put in the oven, microwave oven.
Done.
And they're done in 3.5 minutes.
Yeah, instead of waiting 5-6 minutes.
So right there on the label, 3.5 minutes. Yeah, you read it, it'll tell you to do it. Well, she's suing. She says, Miss, what did I say her name was?
Ramirez.
Amanda Ramirez is complaining because apparently, as part of this class
No
action
macaroni
lawsuit, it takes more than 3.5 minutes once you add in the time it takes to cool and to prep it, to put it in the microwave, to mix it, and all of those things. So apparently, this has it adds on
harm. I want to hear the harm.
Another 30 seconds or something per order, and this has apparently cost money. According to her lawyers, cost her thousands of dollars.
Really?
And plus, they lied to her, and that alone is worth.
They should be punished. Punitive damages.
And
for lying.
They want corrective advertising, and they want
Kraft to suffer for the harm they've done to this society.
According to Kraft, Kraft responded to CNN asking a question, quote, "We're aware of the frivolous lawsuit and will strongly defend it." They are not settling. They're not settling.
Frivolous?
They're like, we ain't playing. No way.
How many generations have we suffered? I don't think this product's even been around for a while. Have we suffered under your lies, Kraft?
It takes 4 minutes.
Oh, that poor us. Not just that poor woman, but poor us. Is it too late to jump on a class action suit?
All right, our final story.
Yeah, we'll roll past that.
Florida man.
Heard of them?
Is facing charges in Pinellas County.
Heard of it.
Pinellas County never fails to weigh in on. I don't think a month has gone by.
Never fails.
Not a single episode has gone by when Pinellas County has not gotten in on the Florida man action.
It never fails. You know what? You can fail us once in a while.
It's not my fault.
Included in the list of stupid.
Don't blame me. I'm just the messenger.
I can be mad at who I want to be mad at.
Fair enough.
Oh, it's beautiful.
I feel like your anger is misdirected, though.
Yeah. Tampa Bay in the house.
Pinellas County.
It's gorgeous there.
Alicia Lalani.
Just double check
age 27.
Make sure I don't know her.
According to him, actually.
Oh.
Alicia. There's a picture of a guy, Picture of a guy named Alicia Lalani. So he's starting off on a back foot.
Yeah.
He's age, because he gave a girl's name.
That mistake happens a lot.
Age 27. From St. Petersburg, police say he was arrested. According to the arrest report, he walked up to cops sit on horses, crowd control, whatever, patrol in downtown areas. He walks up to one of those. So these mounted police are standing there, and they're in uniform. The horse is in uniform. There's some lights going, some blue lights going because of whatever they're doing there at the time. Mr. Lalani walks up, slaps the horse on the ass.
Slaps the horse on the ass.
Slaps the horse on the ass.
What decision should I make right now in this scenario?
Now,
got it.
Leaving aside the police aspect of it, walking up and slapping a horse on the ass is never a good idea.
Animal in a public space, or even when you find them on a ranch,
right,
minding their own business.
Just randomly walking up to a huge animal and slapping it on, or anyone.
No animals, including humans.
Just not walking up and slapping things
all
on the ass.
All the primates, including us. No one likes just walking up and slapping.
So he slaps the horse on the ass.
That was the right thing to do.
Yeah. And then when they arrested him for it, for sexually assaulting the horse, no, that's not what they charged him.
Unwanted slappage.
They did charge him for assaulting. They charged him for
81773
battery on a police horse. He said he didn't know he wasn't allowed to hit the horse. He didn't know. He didn't know.
All his time on this planet, he didn't know?
He didn't know. You have to tell him he's not allowed to hit the building, he's not allowed to hit the car. You have to tell him all the things that he's not allowed to hit as he goes through life. His mom was always there.
Macaroni.
Don't hit the bush. Don't hit the telephone pole.
Don't hit the neighbor's dog.
Just go through life telling you all the things you're not allowed to hit.
Oh, well then let him go, because he didn't know.
No one told him he weren't allowed to hit the horse. In the ass.
St. Pete in the house, ladies and gentlemen. Not that I was distracted. I didn't do it. My hand flinched. I was drunk. Oh, I didn't even know. You can't do that.
I didn't know. I wasn't allowed to do that.
He said with his hand raised because he was about to slap the cop's ass too.
Right, yeah. I didn't know I was allowed to punch the cop. I didn't know I was allowed to, it's just...
He slapped in the back of the cop car. I didn't know.
Lesson learned, Your Honor.
Live
now
and
I know.
Yeah. Peace be with you. I'm gone. I'll make better choices tomorrow.
I promise.
Stop slapping me.
I can go now, right?
Yeah, stop slapping my bailiff.
No one told me I wasn't allowed to do that, he said.
See, no one told you should not slap a horse.
Oh my God. All right, well, on that note,
wow,
we are going to take a musical
Bravo,
break.
St. Pete person. Bravo.
We're going to take our musical break, and when we come back, we'll have some science news for you.
Science.
Here you go. Stupid science. Stupid science.
Science. Welcome back.
Back.
Stupid Science with JD and Lisa, and we are here for my favorite segment, Science. I say that for both segments.
Science news.
Take a drink every time I say this is my favorite segment.
You'll be drunk. All right, it's time for science news. Science. On the Stupid Science Show. And we're going to start off with just a little bit of scientific trivia for you. December 6, 2022.
Yep, that one.
Nearly 9 out of 10 people on the planet will simultaneously experience nighttime. Just some random trivia for you there, because all the people who are in Europe, Asia, and Africa.
Heard of them. 1956
UTC, or Greenwich Mean Time, they will 85.92% of the world will be under darkness. The other time I mentioned, 11:15 UTC, was back on July 8th. That was when 99% of the world was under sunlight.
Oh, we were all standing
back on July 8th.
On the same bright day.
Yes.
Okay.
Not us. It's the other side of the planet.
I was speaking
that
figuratively.
Gets to be in that, yes. The Center for International Earth Science Information Network at Columbia University.
They sound like fact checkers.
Yes. Not very good namers, but fact checkers.
That's a fact.
So they did all these calculations, and they figured out the population data for the day, the night, and the 3 twilight phases for every minute of every day of the year. So these guys are not getting a lot of sex, but they are figuring out facts for us.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. So yes, on December 6th at 1956 UTC, half the globe will be covered in sun. Well, that's always true that half the globe is covered, but half the population of the Earth will be entirely in darkness at the same time.
Under the same night sky. The same night darkness. Okay.
Yes.
That is science trivia, aka knowledge.
Knowledge, yes. It's not really important or useful in any way, but it is just some interesting trivia.
Symbolically, it's lovely.
Yes, I suppose. Moving on.
It is lovely.
I follow. Yes, it's lovely.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Yes, dear. You're right. Yes, dear. What else we got going on? James Webb Space Telescope.
Heard of it.
As well as the Keck Telescope. Both these teams have been looking at Saturn's moons, Titan in particular.
Okay.
Recently, gotten some extraordinary shots. Titan, as far as we know, is the only moon in the solar system with a dense atmosphere. It is also, as far as we know, the only planetary body other than Earth that has rivers, lakes, and seas at current.
We like Titan.
So it seems cool. Unfortunately, those seas and rivers are made up of like methane and stuff.
It's still.
But so it's not really like a place to hang out.
You don't know.
Hydrocarbons.
You don't know
methane,
what I'm into.
Ethane, not water. Its atmosphere is filled with a thick haze that obscures visible light reflected off the surface. So we've been waiting for years to use Webb's infrared vision to study Titan's atmosphere.
Like Superman does.
They found clouds, which is interesting. That requires certain atmospheric conditions for there to actually to be clouds.
That type of condensation
that can hold and float, and of course clouds constantly change. The clouds don't exist for very long, so you're getting constantly different changing, and that tells you things about the composition of the clouds as well as of the surface beneath them.
The atmosphere, the temperature, the
shape,
humidity,
the size, and all these things of those clouds. So that's all very interesting, getting a lot of cool images off the surface of Titan and learning a lot about Titan for the first time ever as these images come in through the JWST and Keck teams.
Love it.
So hope
actual data that is interesting. It's inspiring. It helps us know more about.
It's the first time human eyes have ever seen this planet, and as you said, learned all this new data about it. But also, just the first time we've ever seen it, a new surface somewhere in the solar system.
Beautiful.
What else we got going on? Oh, as far as back here on the Earth, there's theories about where the oxygen on the planet came from in the first place. So apparently, about a third of our planet's history is represented by a period of time known as the Archean Eon.
Okay.
Archean. Archean. I guess that's how you pronounce that. Archean Eon. E-O-N. Representing an era of time, period of time, which lasted...
You're not talking to a Florida man. I got Eon.
You're not the only one listening. not only does it rhyme,
Yeah.
but it also lasted about 2 billion years. From
Okay.
4 billion years ago to 2.5 billion years ago. The Earth was very different then. It was a water world, mostly, covered in green oceans, shrouded in methane, haze, and completely lacking any kind of multicellular life. Right? So there's not even protein chains. There's just maybe a few single atoms floating around.
Got it.
But there is
elemental.
Yeah, so it looks nothing like it. And there's also,
It's the stew that our current planet is going to be made of.
right. And one of the essential things you're going to need is oxygen. You're also going to need continents. Now today, when we see continents and we talk about earthquakes and we talk about like those things moving around, and there's like tectonics, plate tectonics, and they shift, and that causes earthquakes. But that's also what causes the continents and islands and stuff to exist. These tectonics, these plate tectonics. But that doesn't exist.
Pushed
back
up
then.
out of the water.
It's a water world back then. There are no plate tectonics really existing.
Costner?
It's very much a different. The Earth exists in a very different way. Back in this era, the one feature of how magma could arise to the surface of the Earth from beneath, not through earthquakes and plate tectonics, but rather through subduction, where mass gets sucked down underneath and then blown back up, right? Turned into magma and blown back up from the heat.
Okay.
And that is how oxidized sediment underneath would get blown back up into
the
that
atmosphere.
process. And apparently in northern...
Because we had oxygen in the core and close to the core.
There was,
but
more
we
so.
didn't, more so than we had in the atmosphere.
Right.
Okay.
And so apparently in northern Canada, there is plates, massive plates, that have been mostly undisturbed since the Archean era, eon, as opposed to elsewhere where tectonics and stuff have overwhelmed them and magma, etc. So
there's been movement closer to when we've been alive.
Right. So they went up there, the Abitibiwi-Wawa subprovince of the Superior Province, which is the largest preserved Archean continent, stretching over 2,000 kilometers from Winnipeg, Manitoba to far eastern Quebec. And they collected samples, nearly 3,000 million-year-old granitoid rocks from across this region. And they were able to investigate the oxidation of magmas generated across this era, this eon. And they were able to determine that this is how oxygen was generated. This process would subversion would cause. Is that what I said it was called? Subduction would cause the disturbance of it. Was part of the thing getting broken, the planet getting broken down, sucked underneath itself.
And
then the heat breaking it up, generating it, affecting the water, the heat affecting the water, and creating this oxygenation of the water as it got blasted back up towards the surface.
Yeah.
And that would be how the oxygen was created. And they ran experiments to determine if that was in fact possible, this process was possible, their theory was in fact practical, and it did in the lab produce the same results. And so they believe this is how most of the oxygen on Earth was created.
Got it.
And thus giving rise to the ability for there to be multicellular life, et cetera, et cetera.
Huh. Heat.
So
I love it.
And this
to be very reductive. Heat. No, it's very
now this
energetic, and it's more lively than a slower just combining of cells and pulling oxygen from the atmosphere in a very serene manner. It is more violent and chaotic and lively, and
as the Earth grew and changed. And this is
spicy and
by doctors from the Laurentian University and the University of Michigan. The lead being Dr. Mole from Laurentian, and from the University of Michigan, Dr. Thurnau, Thurnau. There you go. They're one of the lead professors on that product. Particular.
Very impressive to find a way to try to test that hypothesis, and very interesting.
Yeah. A bit of knowledge, science. What else we got going on? And our final story in North America right now.
I've heard of there.
You've heard of it?
Mm-hmm.
You're in it.
Yep.
We've been there. Still there. Stuck around. Call it home. There is now in Mount Olive, New Jersey, not far from where I grew up. Not close exactly, but not far. Closer than here. They've just put online a 25.6 megawatt solar farm on the grounds of what used to be a landfill, a dump site. They took the old, the dump site was full. It was closed off back in like 78.
Gross.
Yeah, it operated from 66 to 78, and now it hosts 56,000 solar panels.
Not gross.
It still contains domestic and industrial waste and dry sewage sludge, which is, again, gross.
I repeat my gross.
And on top of all of that, solar panels.
Great.
Which is a great use of that land, because otherwise it's just waste.
Gross, great.
But now it's waste and
like
sun.
ambergris. I'm looking at you, Bob's Burgers.
It's going to provide 4,000 households with clean energy. Pay off a bunch of. They're going to recoup 2.3 million in past taxes from the site. And apparently, according to the CEP Renewals, the organization that was in charge of building and maintaining and running this, there are over 10,000 closed landfills in the United States. Yet only a small fraction of these parcels have been redeveloped.
What an interesting project. Yeah.
That's the end of Stupid Science.
We were so glad you joined us.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for being here.
You have our voices in your ear hole.
I hope you enjoyed your Thanksgiving. Have a good holiday. We'll talk to you one more time before the year wraps up.
We love you.
And, I mean, we like you a lot. It's not you.
I love you. He's on the fence.
I am. But, I don't want to commit to anything. But we'll talk to you soon. Have a lovely month. Enjoy your holiday. I'm JD. This is Lisa. We out.
Stupid science. Stupid science.